Yeah, so I changed the title of the presentation when Marie and I first spoke, swapped email 5 weeks ago, whatever it was. What the economy was doing then, what it's doing today, a little bit different. I didn't think that we were going to go from mid-March and some of us are going to be working from home to now end of April, right? We've all been doing this for a month. So I changed the title to Recruiting During because we've skipped the slowing of the economy part. The idea is I want to talk about recruiting now so that when this thing slowly eases up or when the green light is given or when companies, their business comes back and they start hiring, the groups are ready. So quick thing about me, I've been recruiting for 20 some years. I say 20 some, I'm turning 50 in a couple of months, so I'm sensitive to numbers now. But earlier in the chat, Ben was asking about, or Maria was asking about who had been to how many MinneBars. I missed 1 and 2, attended number 3, and I've spoken every time from 4 through today. And so this is a community. I got my Startup Week shirt on, or pullover on. I've got a MinneBar t-shirt on. A couple of questions I've been asked from folks independently is about, I normally every year do my IT career maintenance, and then in brackets, why recruiter sucks so bad presentation. I'm going to do that this week. So I'm going to do 3 Zooms this week. Probably we'll have the registration pages up later today. So I'm going to do the IT career maintenance session. I'm going to do this again in a full length because there'll be some more stuff to get into. And then I'm bringing back my Be Your Own Headhunter presentations that I did during the last recession that are free for those who are unemployed, been furloughed or whatnot. It's going to be how I would go about doing a job search. There's going to be a version for tech product engineering, the MinneBar community. And then there's going to be one for, I would say, more general folks, if you're in sales, marketing, customer service, whatnot. So just a quick heads up on that. I just wanted to, since I get to bat, I'm closing out the day, just say to Maria how much we appreciate that you all have been doing this today. Like, I love MinneBar. Like, I'm missing that I can't give everybody a hug today. Jenna, I know you're missing not getting my hug today. That's probably not true. But it's really important that we're able to get together virtually or whatnot. So to Maria, Jenna, the rest of the MinneStar board, thank you for doing this. These are my photos from last year's MinneBar because I do, for those who haven't attended a MinneBar, and now this is some of the flavor of what I experienced last year. So the lower right corner was at the beginning of the day, 1,200 some folks, whatever that number was last year. I gave my IT career presentation last year and then topped some of the sessions that I went through. So this is last year's MinneBar. This is 2 years ago. So if you'll remember, 2 years ago was the great, I don't even remember what we called it, the apocalypse, whatever we called it, when still 1,000 or more of us showed up at Best Buy headquarters. It was 11 days and 2 years ago. I came home to this. That's my driveway coming down, my shared neighbor to the left. This red truck is the plow truck that's stuck in my driveway and I can't get in my garage. That's what I came home to, MinneBar 2018. And if you see me looking at my phone, it's because I want to make sure I'm timing this thing so I don't go over. I've been getting a lot of questions about what is the recovery going to look like. If you follow me on Twitter, you may know I jokingly call myself, I'm like a PhD in economics from Bloomberg and CNBC. I pretty much have it on mute or on low all day. If we're thinking about how are we going to recruit and when and how, so you'll hear lots of terms kicked around. Actually, they're letters. We have a V-shaped recovery, meaning it came down very fast. Will it come back just as fast? I used to be in that camp. I'm no longer. You've got the U shape, came down, you'll be at the bottom for a while, you'll go up. A W, we went down, we'll come back, and we'll go down again. This is a bit of that conversation about the fall and winter, what will happen if there's a part 2 to this. There's the L, or really it's a reverse hockey stick, right? It's gonna be flat for a while, and it's gonna be a gradual. I was introduced to the Nike swoosh idea from Casey Allen, who also is a longtime member of the technology community. He thinks it's going to be like this, and it's going to be a very, very, very slow comeback. Depending on where you are and your philosophy on this and how your business is doing, right? We have a number of companies in town who are still hiring very hard, and we've had a number of companies do layoffs and furloughs in the last 3 weeks. So every company is going to be a little bit different. If you're hiring and you do nothing else for listening to what I say to you right now, it's this one thing. And anyone who's a job seeker is going through hell right now, applying for jobs that aren't actually open. I don't know if anybody's actually swore yet today or much, but because I've been listening to most of the sessions today. I find it complete and utter bullshit that if you're an employer and if you've got jobs posted that you're not hiring, but you're just trying to grab resumes and contact information of people to use for another day or when a recovery happens. Complete bullshit. Okay. Put at the top of your job description, have the job description, have it so people can get to know the idea and the flavor of who you are and what your roles are going to be like. But put at the very top, this role is on hold. We expect to be hiring in 60 days. We would like to start speaking with you now. That's fantastic. But do not have people applying for roles right now that you're not hiring for, because it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them emotionally, financially. We live in a really large, small town, and stuff like this will come back to haunt you later. I don't normally get this riled up about things. Well, I do, except for maybe if it's go for football, but this is pissing me off. And so I wrote a blog post about it. I'll stop my rant there. And also don't, like, as an add-on, and don't wait until the end of the freaking, the whole interview process to say, oh, by the way, we're not going to be giving an offer until we're ready to go. Okay, just don't. If that's the only thing you take away from this, that would be fantastic. Couple of quick side notes too. If you've been going through layoffs and furloughs, okay, how you're offboarding your now previous team members is as, if not more important than how you onboarded them. Again, we live in a really large, small town. This is a very tight-knit community. MinneBar, MinneStar is a very, very tight-knit community. Do well by folks, do well by people. Not just because they're a tight-knit community, but also because it's the right thing to do. It's the part about helping everybody take care of each other. So be really, do the best you can as you're letting people go. Be really transparent with them and take care of them as best as you can. If you're actively recruiting right now, these are sort of the preamble part of this conversation. If you're actively recruiting today, tonight, tomorrow, Monday, I was gonna say when you get back into the office, when you get back into your home office, go check the analytics to your career page. You should be seeing a spike in views to your career page. You should be seeing a spike on your job descriptions, right? You should be getting more resumes than you were getting 90 days ago. If you're not, and some groups aren't, you're having an issue. Two is, again, kind of going back to setting people's expectations on on whether you're hiring right now or not. The candidate experience really, really matters, right? So be very transparent along the way. This is what's going on. This is what we're doing next, because whether you're dealing with someone who is already employed and looking, or they're unemployed and actively looking, how you handle people through this process will be your reputation when we come out of this. And I have no doubt that Glassdoor is going to be a petri dish. Sorry for the virus, that wasn't intended. But it is. It's going to be an amazing look into how companies did during this time. And so do really well. If you have people that you're not going to bring in for interviews, let them know. I would suggest, if possible, and when you can, don't send them the canned BS. Thank you for applying. We're considering other people or whatever it is. Send them a note, like a legit note. If you're interviewing people and you're not going to hire them, don't give them a canned note. Let them know why. Because in this economy right now, people need to know why it is they may not be being considered for a role, so that they can learn, so they can understand what they should be doing when they interview at a next company. I firmly believe that if you shut down recruiting during this time, that you're going to lose. I'm just adamant about it. I did this. This was a LinkedIn post that's now been viewed 27,000 times as of this morning. Here's the idea that if you did, and if you had to, and I understand that every company has different financial situations, I get this. But if you let your recruiter go in March and you don't recruit during April and May, and in June, you're going to need to start hiring, or July, you're going to need to start hiring, but it's going to take you 30 days to hire a recruiter. So now you haven't recruited for 1, 2, 3, 4 months, 3 or 4 months. And then it's going to take you 60 days to find who you're looking for, recruit them, get them. You can't afford to wait 4 to 5 months. So this is why I wanted to do this presentation today. And then I did this blog post as a follow-up. You should not be stopping your recruiting during the coronavirus shutdown. Here are some things I would be doing if I were you, and I've been advising clients on. First of all, figure out who do you need immediately. So you can be having a hiring freeze, like you're not hiring. Figure out who you are going to need as soon as you land those next 2 or 3 clients. Who do you think you're going to need in Q3 as we get into the fall? And I get this depends on how fast the economy comes back, how fast your business comes back. I understand that. And then the third pool of people is the senior leaders. If you're going to need a CFO, if you're going to need a VP of customer success, if you're going to need a CTO, if you need a technical co-founder, right? When you will recruit for these people, the timetables will be a little bit different. But if I think that I'm going to be needing to hire React developers July 1st, I'm actually starting today, right? Because if I start putting out job descriptions, if I start networking, and it's going to take us the first 2 weeks of May to get through that process, by the time you get done doing, and we're doing this all remote, and so most companies, the process has been a little bit slower. Your timeline is now if you want to have a React developer July 1st. And if you need people before that, you might already be behind the curve. The next few slides, most of this is text now, the rest of the way it's more of a checklist. If you're in a hiring freeze right now, do all the things you couldn't do 90 days ago. So you were busy hiring in the fourth quarter, you were busy hiring in January, and there were things in your recruiting process, your strategy, the evangelism or activism you've been having for your, you've been doing on your behalf. You couldn't get to those things, so do it now. First thing I'm going to do is do an audit of the candidate journey. Whiteboard. Well, again, now you're home. It's your wall. I have downstairs in my office, I have probably 100 Post-it notes in like 5 or 6 different categories of things. But every touch point that you or your recruiter or your HR person would have with a candidate, map it out. And see how many of those steps, those touch points don't need to actually happen. Most companies, big and small, never do this. And there are so many inefficiencies involved in this that it's insane. So take this time, take this pause in hiring to do some of these things like map out the candidate journey. Do an audit of your employer brand. So go to Glassdoor. Think about when you went to your company that you're at today. And again, whether you're a group of 7 or 200 or 1,000. What would you have wanted to have seen on Instagram and LinkedIn when you were going through the interview process? When you went through it? And start putting that content on your profiles and your accounts today. I think lots of people are enjoying the screen, right, with 16, 20, 100 some people, and it's the company stand up. It's the photos of some companies are having like where it's 80s Friday, right? And so they're on their Instagram account, their employees are sending the photos, the selfies from them at home, doing the 80s thing, whatever it might be. Don't have your profiles go dormant for these 30, 60, 90 days or whatever this is going to be. This is an opportunity for you to lay a foundation to hit a reset button on your recruiting. Go to your career page and as objectively as you can, see if it sounds and feels like you and your company. Does it give the information? Does it give the stuff that are you attracting people? Again, I get frustrated because usually most career pages suck. It's corporate gobbledygook that somebody in marketing or sales put together. It doesn't sound human. It doesn't sound like you're trying to connect with people. So go back and think about what's on your career page. And then it's your job descriptions. I was going to drop an F-bomb and I won't. If you have 17 bullet points of a wish list of a recipe of what you want Wonder Woman or Superman to have as your future team member, you're doing it wrong. 2, if you're not saying to Jane Doe, John Doe, developer, data scientist, why they should come work for you, you're doing it wrong. In this climate, it might be easier to hire because a lot of people are looking. but it wasn't this easy 90 days ago, and it may not be this easy again 6 months from now. The idea of dating and wooing people is usually missed in job descriptions. Give them a reason to want to come work with you. Have the conversations with the hiring managers who have been a royal pain in your butt. I think every corporate recruiter I know has that one hiring manager that for whatever reason it's not clicking. Take this time. Do the phone call, do the Zoom, the Google Hangout, the whatever it is. And take this opportunity to have a conversation, recruiter to hiring manager, founder or CEO to hiring manager, to figure out why is it that we haven't been able to hire who you're looking for in your group. And do this now. So again, when the green light goes, you don't have this sort of roadblock. Some people have like speed bumps, some have brick walls. Take this opportunity to get through those. Start having, if you haven't, have informal conversations with people now, right? There's less pressure. You're not interviewing people. If you know you're gonna need to hire some big data folks come Labor Day, start talking to people now. You know, hey, Jane, do you have a half an hour, 45 minutes, sometime in the next week or two where we can have a chance to get to know each other? They have the time, right? They're working from home. They don't have to worry about the boss being on the other side of the cubicle, or they're hiring. This is a great time to have these conversations. Really informal, casual, not uptight, not interviews, certainly not an interrogation, right? This is a fantastic time to have these conversations. Reach out to those people, whether they are in specific individuals or those with a skill set or title that you've been wanting. If you know, again, that you're going to need to hire a CTO at some point this year, if there's that one person who's been working for that one company, they've been traveling a lot, and now there's a travel ban, reach out to them now, like now. If you are, whether you're hiring now, you're going to be hiring in the fall, use this medium. Use any online chat and invite and say, hey, we're having an open house. We're having an online career fair. It can be any of those things. This is a fantastic time for you to be able to get your hiring manager on a screen, let them be them, let them talk about the skill sets, the technologies, where the company is going, what the tech stack is, where it's going to evolve into. The first time you do it, you're going to have like 7 people on the call, and that's okay. Because then you're going to have 15, then you're going to have 30. And by the way, now you have on-demand content. Jody Hill, the photo here, the collage, she posted this on LinkedIn a little bit more than a week ago. So they have kept their recruiting team. As best I know, SPS is hiring, but not at the rate that it was. And what they're doing is Jody has her recruiter team picking projects they want to work on. They're doing 2-week sprints. They're coming back and reporting on the work that's being done. This is an example of what a group can and should be doing during this time. I have a caution for you. Just as it's easy for me to get a React developer, a data scientist, a web developer to have a phone call with me, just as it's easy for you to be able to go and recruit people because they're at home. By the way, your people can get recruited right now too. So be thinking at this during this time. We always think about recruiting. We rarely think about retention. I would be doing retention hard right now. I would be making sure that my company culture is stronger now than it was when we went into this, and it will be even stronger when we come out of this than it is today. I can't stress this enough. We're always trying to bring new people in the front door, and we forget about people leaving. And so keep that into some consideration. Continue being active online. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. If you're a CEO, you should be talking about the articles that you're reading, the webinar you attended. Frankly, I think everybody should be tweeting or putting on LinkedIn today or Monday that what a great time we had today as a technology community to come together and still do a MinneBar. Like, be active online. I got a couple quick random thoughts. I know I'm coming up on my time. This feels like remember the game 52 card pickup when you were a kid? You know, you would take the deck of cards, you might throw them at your brother or sister, your friend, and you 52 card pickup. That's a lot of what's going on locally, regionally, nationally right now in the employment space. Companies are letting go people because revenue has been cut. A lot of people, it's a reshuffle. And this is a fantastic opportunity for you, whether you're a very young new company, to go pick up 3 or 4 really solid new team members. This is a fantastic opportunity for you to go build that new data BI group you've been talking about doing if you're at a big company in town. The last one is this, and I'm losing my voice, sorry. Emotions are high right now, right? People are stressed, tired. I know I am. So be compassionate, be kind, be gracious with people right now. If you're interviewing people, make sure that you're giving them an opportunity, that you're not judging them because maybe they were just having a bad day. A kid is crying, a dog is barking. So that's what I have. Again, Maria, thanks for having me. Thanks for doing all of this stuff today. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul, hang on. Kate, stay up here for just 1 minute. We had a question come through, and we do have a couple minutes of time left over. So question from Kendra, is there a good place to find out about online career fairs and chats like this?
I don't know that there's a lot of online stuff going on right now as far as doing, there is there's every Monday night, I think at 9 p.m. Minneapolis time, job hunt chat. This has been going on probably since the last recession. Job hunt chat. Usually it's advice given from recruiter and HR folks. Job seekers are asking questions. That's like kind of like the big one that I can think about off the top of my head.
Okay. And one more question while we have you from Sarah Rose. She says,
hi, Sarah.
she says, Paul, lots of great advice for the CEO, CTO, and recruiter. Anything individual contributors should be doing differently right now? Should you be doing anything differently if you're already on the hunt? If you're already employed, is now the time to hunker down and not consider new roles?
Yes and no. There are a lot of people in our community, again, local, regional, national. There are a lot of gainfully employed people who are doing a job search right now too, because they too are thinking of this as a reshuffle of things. They've been working at a company and like they're done. I think we're going to see a lot of companies are going to have some bad things said about them when this is done, about how do they handle work from home. The idea though is really research the companies that are hiring that you're thinking about interviewing at, because you don't, like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass is greener where you water it, which is weird for a recruiter to say, because yeah, you should look. No, I think you need to be, this is a time to be really smart, really prudent, really thoughtful about your career maintenance, your career development. If your company is hiring and they're having a hard time hiring, this is a great time for a member of a team to step up and say, I'm going to go help and reach out to my network of people who are either now furloughed, unemployed, or who I know who are looking. Like, this is a great time for you to step up within your company and be a greater asset.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And since the chat isn't going to be open for very much longer, where can people find you if they have questions?
MN Headhunter anywhere, including .com, Twitter. No doubt there'll be an Instagram sunset photo tonight.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you all.